So, Mashia, what's your next build?
Oh, I have the same theme.
All right.
Yes, I have the same theme in my Bouldertree,
Sure.
and it's about waking up after with a headache after too many alcohol.
Oh,
It's called Hangover as well. Oh, that's
Yeah.
I had, yes, I remember now. I saw it.
Hangover after hangover.
Well, there are a lot of hangovers in a certain time period.
I did turn it, or do I have to turn it off every single time I enter a home? It's very odd.
Yeah, special effects are on. It would be... No, they are off. I don't see the book. It's alright.
Okay. Because it was still loading. Oh.
Okay. This is an idea I had after Jay had made a contest. I wasn't able to join the contest, but the idea spooked in my head, and I just went with it. I'm looking for the flavor text. Oh,
You feel miserable and try to remember who you are. What the fuck are you doing here in this cellar? It must be daytime. You see sunbeams trying to fight their way through the dusty windows. Your heightened senses hear a knock on the main door upstairs. What to do now? Answer the door? Or take a run and escape through the trapdoor? If only you knew who you were and why you are here.
this is my try to make a little adventure. So I try to make it as linear as possible. You had two options in the flavor text, and usually this is built full of EHT, which gives you hints about yourself. I ask you to switch it off at this moment, so you can look at the build, and if you want to know more about the story, you can visit it yourself, because it can be distracting, I know. And the idea is really to wake up in a place and having forgotten everything.
Who am I and who are those people?
Yeah.
And who is watching up there? It's very strange. How long did you actually, how long did it actually take you to build this one?
A long time. I think I worked around 2 months on it, because it's full of round walls, and so it's a lot of getting the angle right. I made this before the whole Druid packages came out, and I wanted to have an old Druidic place. So there are some typical elements, and I try to use the statues. It's all mostly underground. There are some windows, but you will see later that they are all covered with a lot of wood. And we have our guests here in sweet little cages.
Are they guests? I mean, if you cage
I
them?
call them guests.
But how can you know? You don't remember a thing.
Yes, and they seem to be happy at the moment. There are reasons.
They're happy at the moment, but
Yes.
well,
There is a little kitchen on the right side.
hmm.
And
Uh,
here-
Yeah, a kitchen, a different type of kitchen, I think.
Yeah, this is my laboratory.
Oh. Oh,
You
true.
need a laboratory
Of course.
and a
Nothing.
working place.
Yeah, but I mean, this is still a bit interesting. So I would guess maybe it's good being in a cage instead of here.
Yeah, but I think it goes hand in hand. Ah, you found a turquoise light, and this is the main room. This is the room where everything starts.
Oh. Oops.
Okay. What do you see?
Somebody who's not been very lucky. Yeah. Okay. Multiple people maybe who've not been very lucky.
Yes.
I mean, of course.
Shall I help you?
Maybe you have to.
This is an old battlefield.
Oh.
And what you can see there, this is most important, the stake. And if you scroll up on the right side, leaning at the wall.
Ah.
No, not there, a little bit more to the left. This is an Argonian grave stake. I looked it all up. And Argonians don't get coffins. When they die, they get a grave stake through the body and get pinned to the ground so they don't float up the whole time. And this was my main problem because I wanted to make the home of an Argonian vampire.
Oh.
And we all know vampires sleep in coffins. What do you do when you don't have a coffin?
Yeah, that's a problem. But
This is a big problem in ESO. I'm sure it is not made for Argonian vampires. So my Argonian vampire has to take the place where he or she died the whole time with it. This is their sleeping place. They try to make it a little bit more cozy.
oh, with a little
Yeah.
cushion and of course some candles for some atmosphere. Yes,
Yes.
makes all the sense in the world.
This is an Argonian death mask. It's very usual. And in the gravestake, there is the history of the person engraved. So you see where he was born, what happened to the person, which adventures they had. And another question I had was, what if you are dead and you turn into a vampire? Do you still carve into your gravestake after you died, or do you stay it as it is, but it doesn't represent you anymore?
Yeah, is it a transformation? And is it maybe like the shell that a butterfly slips out, but before it's a different stage, maybe?
Yeah, it's full of questions, but Isa doesn't give an answer. So my Argonian vampire tries to feel at home as good as possible. And when you turn to the left, you see a... Yeah, I really wanted to make an Argonian vampire, and I still didn't do it. There's a rope ladder, and there is escape possibility. Because it's all downstairs in the cellar, and I always think if you're a vampire, you want to be able to flee
Yes,
if
of
something
course.
happens, because you are vulnerable.
Yes, makes sense. You have to have some safety in an escape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you are playing my adventure, this is one of the exits. When you click at it, there is a little text which tells you that No, they aren't cowards, they are wise people. You don't stay a vampire when you get killed by the first mob. I love Chimiska. They are so fun. This is, of course, a Chimiska.
Okay.
Because our Argonian vampire has another problem. When it turns into a vampire, it loses its soul.
Oh,
And when it loses its soul, it loses the connection to the hist.
oh no.
And yes, and an Argonian is not used to be alone. It's always part of the hist. And this is something which disturbs my vampire very, very deeply. So it starts to experiment to get the connection back. And this is where my laboratory comes to place.
Ah,
You can take a deep look at it. On the
now,
left side,
yeah, now those make a lot more sense.
on the left side, you see a lot of small little trees.
Yes.
And when you look down, you see this is not your usual compost,
Mm,
which is used to grow them.
no, not exactly.
So my Argonian vampire tried to create vampiric hist. Yeah, that Vin.
Nice.
So it was not a success story at the beginning, but it's getting better. And because it's ESO, there are a lot of diaries lying around in this build when you have EHT turned on. I made some flavor text, so when you enter certain areas, you get a text what you can smell and what it makes you feel, so reminiscence of the past. You can see a lot of trees outside, so you still have natural light coming in, but the view is blocked. It's all very hidden.
Yeah.
This is very important.
Yeah, lots of foliage indeed.
Yeah. And I think even a vampiricus needs some sunlight because it's still a tree.
Yeah, still needs some. I mean, it does have sustenance, yes, so that's already good, but you would still need some kind of photosynthesis to go on.
Yeah.
Oh, so how do you get sunlight without
Yeah.
interfering? Oh, and also, if it's vampiric, is it going to burn in the sunlight? No.
I think our normal window lights block UV light, so only parts of the sunlight go through. And I just thought about UV light is the dangerous parts for vampires, so they are safe behind the windows. But you can see that the sleeping place is still hidden with a curtain.
Yeah, I mean, you do want. I mean, this is of course the stage in which, or the moment in which you are most vulnerable when you are sleeping. So you
Yeah.
do want to have it hidden away as much.
And the normal vampire is active at night and not at day.
True.
So there will only the moon and the stars shining through the windows.
Yeah, but the tree still. How do you get the tree to grow without sunlight? Just compost? I mean.
I think there will be sunlight at day when the vampire is sleeping.
Okay.
And when he is awake, it's safe. And well, my vampire is experimenting with blood.
Yeah, I guess that.
A lot, yes. So we have 3 people, and they are trying different diets to influence the hist. And we have a diet diary, and it was a lot of fun to write it.
And to read it, really. Very good texts that I discovered when I visited. Really like it.
Thank you very much. I really have fun writing English text, even when I do a lot of mistakes. And, well, I seem to love writing more than building nowadays. So people have to read a lot of text when they enter this build.
So anyone, if you want to visit and you are visiting using EHT with effects turned on,
Yeah, we can show 1 or 2 diaries later, but
You know-
I will recommend to see it this way first because it's very distracting.
yeah, but also I would say that then people just have to get cozy with a cup of tea or wine, whatever floats their boat, and they can buckle in for a good read.
Yeah, they could. Okay, this is the old place of my build.
Of course, we've seen the kitchen.
The old reading shrine. Also, this is an intact kitchen. You can see a lot of food,
Yes.
and most of them is stuff you can eat raw because you don't see some kind of heating. Oh, yeah, I'm German. There's a beer keg.
Very important.
It was interesting to read those books because they were funny to read and they gave the clues about the like what happened here and about the what kind of character is this vampire who lives here.
Most people don't like Nusima in a cage, but Bastion is
A good sport. Also,
always the one who gets caged.
It's
It's very funny.
he's always the one who gets caged, and I've seen him caged with cheese and with other things, and he's a good sport. Not complaining.
It seems to be natural to him.
Yes.
Yeah, I made a lot of water beneath because I was thinking about smell because the people are caged for a long time.
Yeah.
I thought it would be a wise choice to have a little natural stream beneath.
Yeah, very Roman.
Yeah, Romans are great. Yeah.
Now, let's see where we are going. Ooh.
Still looks a little bit female. Yeah, I wanted to make the water a little bit more deadly,
Oh.
but no, I let it stay this way because it's nice and people fall down the whole time. You can jump up.
Yeah,
some
but
places.
you can also jump. I'm not sure where though, but I
Yeah.
will find the way. Oh,
Yeah,
there.
my first idea was because there are so many people who rush that everybody who rushes will fall down to the pit and dies. So that people stop rushing.
Good idea.
But I seem to be a friendly person.
But I have seen this year's One More Housing with a little trap. You do
Yeah.
actually fall down. It's very, very funny.
Yeah, sometimes it makes people think again, and they are so used to run through and give a short look left and a short look right, and they're through the build, and they jump to the next build. And this is not how you tell a story. If you want to tell a story, you need the people to slow down and stop, because they forget the story else, and they won't give all the details the right time.
Yeah, and I mean, it's of course, it's very good to put stoppers in like this. I think, particularly when you want to convey a story, you kind of have to find ways to stop people, but still have to have them flow in the story.
Yeah, and this is the point where I built this inside because I needed a stop moment.
Yeah, I also really like the light choices here. They are,
Yeah.
again, focal points, and that's, at least for me, when I entered here first, it's a stopper. I don't run ahead because, oh, look, pretty lights.
Yeah, and the light is really important because you can look at this build from above and you can identify this place with this little candle. And I think it's nice when you know where you are and where you come from.
But I don't know that. I just woke up.
Yes, you don't know this yet. But light is so important. It's really a place to take the interest from people. Okay, if you want, you can put EHT on now. There will be one book and there will be one effect triggering. Oh, okay, 2 effects. I'm sorry.
Maybe I just went across something. I think there should be a
Yeah.
book here.
The text you saw coming up is EHT effect I really like to use. It's triggering when you come to a certain point, and
Ah.
then you have this, in my case, wall of text. You can make short text, but I'm not good at making short text. If the text is too long, you still can see it in chat. And it's a nice thing to add when you want to describe something you can't see, like a smell or a feeling of danger. And this is another EHT tool you can use to tell a story. It's an EHT book, and you can click at it, and you have a text you can write yourself, so you can give a feeling.
Yeah, and convey a lot of hints and also emotions.
Yes, also this is my very, very innocent diary. It's made to be found, and there are certain hints that this isn't written by a vampire. I think we can go on. I really like to write those. They're so nice, they add some flavor. And it's one of 4 diaries, I think. Oh, and the cobwebs.
Yeah, I was about to ask, was there something about?
Yes, the whole house is full of it. Because this is a decoy house. It's not really
Oh,
used. And EHT has so nice cobwebs. It looks a lot better than the one we have in game for crowns.
oh, I mean, you can say this is a decoy house, but somebody lives there. Tiny spiders.
Yes. And there's one next to the bed, so I try to make sure that nobody is sleeping in his bed, but nobody had time to look at all the spider webs.
Also looks, I mean, if you see those and the bed, you kind of could guess that it's nobody sleeps here
Yeah,
anymore.
yeah, there were people wondering why there was so less furniture inside, and it's because it's not lived in.
And the spider webs and
Okay, there is life inside.
yeah,
I
sure,
need different
but
word.
they can hint at it. I mean, somebody else might be taking offense to little creepy crawlies making their home in their bedroom. But if it's a decoy, it's not lived in, then of course makes all the sense.
Yeah. So there's the one thing you see, and you can say, okay, it was out of slot limits. It's true, of course. It's always true. But sometimes there's a hidden meaning, and in story builds, you need to think about it. And we are not used to think about it. We just take what we see for granted and move on.
Yeah. So we know that the diary, maybe it's also a bit dusty, and we see a lot of cobwebs here. It's clearly not slept in, and we've come also through what appears to be a hidden door.
Hmm.
What happened to us? Because we still don't know who we are, yes?
Mm, when we left the Druid Shrine, we reacted very strange to sunlight. We started to hide ourselves beneath our laboratory coat. So it was very instinctive.
More cobwebs?
Hmm. Oh,
Yeah.
I love them so much. I used a lot of them.
Yeah, that's also a wonderful thing that EHT gives you so many wonderful options.
Yeah, and we don't use it a lot, and it's sad because there are special effects which are really, really great. I use them in some of my houses, and it's a great addition to the game. A good house looks good without EHT, but you can do so much more if you are allowed to use EHT as well. So when you go forward, we will have ending B. We see already a guard standing in front of the door.
Yeah, but where's the
In
trapdoor?
the trapdoor was in the
Yeah,
sleeping room of the
yes.
vampire.
But there should be another way.
This is the second ending.
Oh, okay.
So the first ending was we escaped through the trapdoor,
Ah, okay.
and the second ending is centered around him. There will be a text going up.
There. Oh no. Oh no.
Yeah. It's again too much text. If you build your own story build with this kind of stuff, you can use an NPC. You can select them from EHT, and you can give them a text. I would advise you to take a shorter text because my texts are always so long and they vanish before you can read them all. You can read them inside chat, but most people don't think about it. But it's a really, really great tool to trigger a text at a certain point.
Yeah, makes all the sense in the world. Yeah. I think that, but that's something that people can get confused by, particularly when they don't use EHT and they come across here. They're probably a bit wondering what's going on.
Also, to be honest, 98% of people run to the bad end and went game over and left the build. There were only a few who found the other ending, and most people weren't looking for it.
Yeah, it's interesting that, I mean, granted, if you are judging 75 houses, then that's a lot, and it's really difficult to judge all of that. I think I remember you telling that, I think there, yes? Yes.
Yes, you can go beneath the table. And then you can see our candlelight. And this is where you came home from. I shouldn't have entered it in OMH, but it's one of the few contests where EHT is allowed.
Oh,
So I entered it, and it were too many builds. And it's a very, very great place. I don't like the Bouldertree houses, which are pre-made,
yeah.
but the view is so great.
Yeah, the surrounding area and everything. Yeah. Also love what you put there.
Yeah, it's mostly the stuff which was already there. It's the border of the house.
I mean the
And
pet.
the pet?
Yeah.
Pet. Yes, yeah, the bunny. The bunny is sweet.
Yeah, so cute.
There was a story build competition, but I don't know how to say it. But the winners were not all story builds. It's a bit difficult because if you judge, you are influenced by a lot of stuff, and yeah, sometimes get distracted, I think.
Of course. Yeah. Yeah, it's also really, really difficult to judge and to stay as objective as you can. And it's, I would have loved to give everybody the highest score.
Yeah, it's so hard to judge. I sometimes have to judge myself for our guild competition, and it costs a lot of time and a lot of thoughts, and you have to take decisions you don't want to take because you can't give everybody top score.
Yeah, precisely.
But it's a lovely view. When you go through the exit, you can see another part from the outside. I can recommend to build in this place because it's big, you have a lot of place, and the view is so lovely.
Yeah, it's so lush and so big.
Yeah, and this is the end of the build. You can't
Yeah,
go
there's
farther.
the invisible wall.
But I love the little sea, and you can use a lot of the surrounding. And if it's just only for the view.
Little focal points that you can put in there. Yeah, makes all the sense in the world. Yeah, I've seen a number of very interesting builds in this particular home. A lot of people have used this to express or to just go ahead and build something very fancy as well. Also, I've seen a druid home here just
Yeah.
recently. Yeah.
Yeah, I stopped visiting other builds because my interest in ESO is sinking very much. But there are so many great builds, and there's so much to see, and everything is different and great.
Yeah. I mean, it's also so versatile. I mean, you can just how much people are able to create and with what. Like, I do appreciate when people use furnishings in creative ways. Create something that you would normally see. I've recently seen someone create a coffee maker in one of their homes, which was really, really awesome. Or like really futuristic or homages to architecture that we have in our world, like Russian apartment in
Oh yes,
that
that was great.
that was just fantastic. It was like, oh my goodness, look at the TV set. It had an antenna to it, and the kitchen looked just like many kitchens looked at the time. It was just, I do appreciate that a
Great.
lot.
With a
When,
lot of love, and you could see it. I remember this build, yes.
yeah, it was so beautiful. And yeah, that's why I'm saying for me it doesn't have to be, super fancy crown store pieces or all the shinies. Just the creativeness that the creator puts into it is just what usually grabs my attention more. How can you use specific furnishings, and what are the boundaries of those? How far can you push it?
Well, I'm not very creative, but
I think you are.
Yes.
it's all normal stuff, but I think it's the story behind which matters.
And that's what this stream is all about, stories. And
Yeah.
what was the inspiration for this one?
The contest from Jayhart, he made a Halloween contest, and it was everything about what it's at the doorstep. And I had the idea from a vampire home and sweet little children lining up in the doorstep with all the Halloween Kürbis pumpkins. And the innocent children on the doorstep and the blood-hungry vampire inside. And I wasn't really able to do it because I was out of items. So we have only Joran at the innocent part. But I really liked the idea. And the vampire part got very, very big, as you can see. And the innocent parts had to shrink down a bit.
Oops.
Vampire became a star and got a story.
Yeah.